At the family reunion, a fight erupted over Grandpa's 20-year-old inheritance. The potato salad hadn't even been served when my cousin slammed his fist on the picnic table and accused my father of stealing our grandfather's watch, an item that had been missing for 2 decades. The reunion was supposed to be a celebration, the first time the entire family had gathered since the funeral 20 years ago, but within an hour it had devolved into a screaming match over a will that nobody could find and assets that had long since been distributed or lost. My aunt claimed she had been promised the antique furniture. My other cousin demanded to see records for a bank account that may or may not have existed, and my father sat in the middle of it all, red-faced, insisting he had never taken anything that wasn't his. I tried to mediate, reminding everyone that Grandpa had died with very little, that the real inheritance was the memories we shared, but my words were drowned out by accusations of greed and betrayal that had been festering since I was a child. The watch became the symbol of everything wrong with our family, an object that represented not wealth but the total breakdown of trust, and as the fight escalated to threats of lawsuits, I saw my grandmother slip away from the table with tears streaming down her face. I followed her into the house and found her in the attic, pulling down a dusty shoebox from a rafter, her hands shaking as she handed it to me.
Inside was the watch, along with a letter from my grandfather explaining that he had intentionally hidden it because he knew it would tear the family apart, that the watch itself was worthless costume jewelry, but the real treasure was the lesson he hoped we would learn by not finding it. He wrote that he had watched his own siblings destroy each other over their parents' estate, and he refused to let the same thing happen to his children, so he created a mystery with no solution, a test to see if we valued each other more than objects. We had failed that test spectacularly, and as I read the letter aloud to the family gathered in the living room, the silence was deafening. My cousin who had started the fight broke down crying, my aunt apologized to my father, and my grandmother just nodded, saying she had waited 20 years for us to be ready to hear what he had really left us. The watch was passed around, each person holding it, and my father suggested we bury it with my grandmother when her time came, not as a treasure, but as a reminder that the only inheritance worth fighting for is the family itself. That reunion ended not with lawsuits, but with a bonfire. My cousins and I burning the old grievances, alongside marshmallows, the watch tucked safely back in its shoebox, a test finally passed 2 decades too late.